Courage to dare kills, courage not to dare saves. One brings profit, one brings harm. Heaven hates what it hates, who knows why? Even the sage finds it difficult. Heaven's Tao does not contend, but prevails, does not speak, but responds. It's not summoned, but arrives. It's utterly still, but plans all action. Heaven's net is wide, wide, loose, but nothing slips through. Courage to dare kills, courage not to dare saves. One brings profit, one brings harm. Heaven hates what it hates, who knows why? Even the sage finds it difficult. Heaven's Tao does not contend, but prevails, does not speak, but responds. It is not summoned, but arrives, is utterly still, but plans all actions. Heaven's net is wide, wide, loose, but nothing slips through. Yes, Thomas, that is a interesting chapter. I'm sure you know that well. So this is my interpretation, and I'm going to go for the non-dual interpretation. I could go for more a human interpretation, but I'm going to fit it in with non-duality. So courage to dare kills, courage not to dare saves. One brings profit, one brings harm. Heaven hates what it hates, who knows why? Even the sage finds it difficult. So I don't know if you've ever heard the story from the Bhagavad Gita. Now, I can't remember names because I am dyslexic, which means if you're dyslexic, you struggle to remember names in words. And I can't remember the names of the characters, but basically the passages, and it's something like his name's Aruna or Arana or something. And the passage is that there is a war between two villages, and on one side, one of the village members is going to have to fight against his family, against his brother, against his friends. And he says to God, God, why do you make me kill my brother? And God replies, it is not you killing your brother, it is me. That is so freaking hardcore, that story, when you really hear it. And to me, what that passage is saying is about surrender to God, like the courage it takes to surrender to God. I'm not saying that killing is right or that war is right or all these things on the human level. We're talking beyond the human level. I'm saying the courage to surrender to God's will takes courage. Like, so to allow God to use this body as an instrument, so it's not your personal will. It's not based on your society's goods or bads or rights or wrong. It's allowing God's will to speak through you, no matter what that is. And that is really absolute surrender. It's like giving your life over. It's giving it back to the source. God is always acting through you, But what the human does is it thinks that it's in control, and it's kind of, because it believes it's in control, it sort of seemingly has an effect on decisions. So because the person believes it's in control, and then it finds out that it's got to do something bad or something, or something bad happening, and then it runs and hides in its bed, and that is all God's will. But because the human believes that it's in control, it seemingly is reprogramming the body, but there's really nobody in control. But what this is talking about, I think, is a lot deeper, is an absolute surrender to the impulses that are coming through. Like really letting life speak through you. Roger used to say, Roger Castillo, who was my teacher as well, he used to say, in every given moment, do exactly what you feel like doing, knowing that there's nobody doing anything. And he got that from Ramesh Balsakar. So they were obviously both my teachers. Ramesh passed me over to Roger. If you know Roger, I was like Roger's first student. Dun dun dun! Claim to fame. And his only student at the time. And that's so, that's such a big thing to really surrender, to really hear God speak through you, the divine speak through you. Yeah. And that's something that's still evolving in this process. I can't say that I'm always like following through on the will of the divine through this body. Like there's old habits or conditions at Lisa that come up and like, no, and then they dissolve down, especially where the mother is concerned. So one brings profit and one brings harm. Heaven hates what heaven hates. So let me read that again. Courage to dare kills. Courage not to dare saves. One brings profit, one brings harm. Heaven hates what it hates. Who knows why? Even the sage finds it difficult. See? Even the sage finds it difficult. You know what I was just saying? That's a joke, obviously, Heaven's Tao does not contend, but prevails, does not speak, but responds, is not summoned, but arrives, is utterly still, but plans all actions. So again, this goes down to non-doership. It's like absolute surrender to heaven's Tao does not contend, but prevails, does not speak, but responds, is not summoned, but arrives, is utterly still, but plans all action. So again, that's another statement about talking about God's will flowing through you. Like all there is God's will flowing through you, and totally listening to that. So it does not speak, but responds. So it's like not trying to be an entity, like not trying to be somebody, not seeking for something in time, but responds, is not summoned, but arrives. So I think that's speaking even more metaphorically. So it's not saying, I've got to do this, you've got to do this. It's allowing that flow to come through. Is utterly still, but plans all action. So this is even deeper. So non-duality, like who you truly are, is absolute stillness. It's beyond stillness that you know, it's nothing. You could say also consciousness is still. Like everything is appearing and moving in consciousness. And that consciousness, that stillness, is what creates everything. It's really beautiful. Heaven's net is wide, wide, loose, but nothing slips through. So heaven's net holds everything. So consciousness holds everything, and nothing slips through. Nothing is rejected from God. Even the murderer even evil, it's all held and it all is God. That's such a hardcore statement, like to really contemplate that, because what we do in humans is we do a lot of blame and a lot of shame and guilt, their fault. But it is nobody's fault. Imagine living in a society like that, like having a system that believes that. It's so beautiful. Well, there's nobody that's guilty. We're all so afraid of people hurting us and people doing terrible things to us that we're afraid not to shame people or blame people or hate people. But there's no one to hate. All of it is act of God. Okay,